Katie Books Productions presents an original podcast, Manhunt, written, produced, and narrated by Earl Sewell. Marshall stood at the door and flipped the light switch to the on position in Lena's bedroom. Lena's bedroom was a mess, and Marshall wasn't happy about it. Her floor was cluttered with clothes, mostly outfits she'd pulled out to try on and then never replaced. Books, magazines, and stuffed animals were strewn across the floor, making it difficult for anyone to enter the room without stepping on something. Her dresser drawers were sitting wide open with clothes drooling over the edges of the dresser drawers. Marshall looked around the room with a critical and disapproving eye. Marshall noticed that Lena had fallen asleep with her purple bed linen completely covering her head. "Lena!" His voice boomed, indicating just how dissatisfied he was with her lack of neatness. "Yeah?" Lena awoke from her slumber. "What's going on with this bedroom? Why is it such a mess? Have you lost your mind or something?" Marshall asked her a series of questions before she could even remove her head from beneath the covers. "I'm going to get to it," Lena said as she became more aware and alert. "How did this room get so junky?" Marshall wanted answers. "Mommy told me to go through all of my clothes and pull out all the stuff that was too small so that we could take it to Goodwill. I'm still working on that project." Lena sat upright, yawned, and removed her iPod earphones. "You shouldn't sleep with those things in your ears. You'll go deaf before you reach your 25th birthday." Marshall picked up a t-shirt that was on the floor in front of him and placed it in a nearby laundry basket. "I want this pig pen taken care of today. And I want the rest of your household chores completed before your uncle arrives." Marshall continued to give her grief about the untidiness of her room. "Okay, I'll take care of it this morning. Are we still going out for our bike ride later on?" Lena stood up and raised her arms high in the air, stretched, and yawned once more. "Can I get a piggyback ride to the bathroom?" "Why? Is there something wrong with your legs?" Marshall was still bent out of shape about the room and wanted Lena to understand that it was unacceptable to be so lazy. "No, I just want to ride." Lena pouted as she looked into his eyes. "You've gotten too big for that, Lena." Marshall twisted his torso and popped his back. "Please, Daddy. I know that I'm a little big for that sort of thing, but I really want a piggyback ride. It's only a few steps." Lena smiled and batted her eyes at him as if blinking would cast a magic spell on him. Lena wanted to make sure she could still get her way with her father, even when he was mad at her. "All right." Marshall gave in to the request. "But I want this room spotless. Do you hear me?" Marshall exclaimed. "I hear you." Lena smiled at her daddy. "Good." Marshall went to the side of her bed, turned his back to her, and squatted down so that she could hop on his back. He tucked his arms behind her knees and stood up and began walking out of the room. "Giddy up," Lena commanded as she locked her arms around his neck. Marshall played along with her and behaved like a horse. He took her down the hall and dropped her off at the bathroom door, feeling proud that he still had strength to honor his teenage daughter's childish request. "It's a good thing that I have a strong back." Marshall contracted the muscles in his back. "You're ready for that bike ride, right? We're going to ride between 15 and 20 miles today," Marshall reminded Lena once again. "I'm ready. We did 25 miles last weekend, and I wasn't even tired." Lena flexed her calf muscle. "See, Daddy? I'm already starting to get some muscle definition. I can't wait to start high school in the fall. My legs are going to be so cut, and when I try out for the basketball team, I'm going to be dunking on upperclassmen," Lena proclaimed with supreme confidence. "You know, you're a bit much this morning. 1 minute you want a piggyback ride like you're a 5-year-old girl, and the next minute you want to tell me how you're going to kick butt and take names." "That's a woman for you, Daddy," Lena said, toying with her daddy. She smiled innocently at him and then blew him a kiss before she shut the bathroom door. "When did she grow up on me?" Marshall mumbled as he stepped away from the door and moved down the hallway. "It seems just like yesterday I was driving her home from the hospital, being extra careful because I wanted to make sure I got her there safely." Marshall thought about that moment so many years ago. He kept looking in his rearview mirror and, while smiling at Stacy, who kept fondling her little feet and fingers, he was so proud to be her husband and her lover. He was also swollen with pride over becoming a father for the first time. "Marshall!" Stacy called out his name. She was speaking through the intercom system, which was piped through the house. He answered using the intercom that was near the staircase. "Yeah, baby," he answered as he pulled the white response switch downward. "Are you and Lena eating this morning before you head out on your bike ride? I'm making some pancakes and eggs," Stacy informed him. "I'm hungry," Lena shouted through the closed bathroom door. "Yeah, baby, hook us up," Marshall answered. Marshall walked down the groaning staircase towards the front door and stepped out to retrieve the morning newspaper, which was situated on the front lawn. "It's a perfect day," Marshall thought, as the warmth of the sun was kissing his skin. He walked down the front porch steps and out to the center of his lawn, where he picked up his newspaper. One of the top headlines read, "Southside Fire. Apartment building fire may have been caused by a faulty gas line." Marshall began reading the story about a dilapidated 3-story apartment building that burned to the ground. After reading the sketchy details of the story, he thought about whether or not he had enough insurance on the rental property he and Stacy owned on 87th and Blackstone. Marshall had inherited the 3-story building from his father. He went back inside and entered the kitchen where Stacy was standing at the island counter pouring 3 glasses of cranberry juice. The scent of buttermilk pancakes wafting throughout the kitchen made his stomach growl. He noticed Stacy, who was dressed in a navy blue Donna Karan business skirt suit with matching pumps that gave just the right amount of flex in her calf muscle. Marshall approached her from behind, slid his arms around her tummy, and kissed the side of her neck. "You taste good, baby," Marshall whispered as he palmed her fanny. "You feel good, too." "Marshall, stop. You didn't say stop when we were on the sky ride," Marshall reminded her. "You couldn't get enough of me then." "Ha ha, very funny," Stacy said, moving away from the center island. She sat down at the kitchen table, which was under a chandelier next to a window and near the back door. "So, today's the big day for you, right?" Marshall queried his wife once again. "Yes, and I can't wait to finish the close on this property. The commission I'll make off of this deal will most certainly put some fat in our banking account. Plus, These clients have referred two of their friends who are looking to purchase homes in the same price range. I was thinking that with the money that's going to come in, we should remodel the basement and then put this house on the market. Stacy floated her idea out to Marshall. Put this house on the market? What for, Stacy? I love this house. Marshall didn't like Stacy's idea. I know you do, but I saw this beautiful home that is about to go on the market in Highland Park. It's a stately-looking home. It's gated and has a driveway made of red cobblestones with a heated 3-car garage, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and a fully finished basement. It has a family room with a fireplace, and the property is sitting on 1/3 acre of land. Marshall, the place is absolutely breathtaking. Stacy continued to give the property rave reviews. Okay, what's the real deal, Stacy? Marshall suspected that Stacy had already mapped out a plan that she hadn't told him about yet. Wait a minute, there's more. Marshall could tell that Stacy was making her case. The first floor has an office with a full bath, and baby, the master suite is absolutely gorgeous. It has a fireplace, a whirlpool, a luxury bathroom, and huge walk-in closets. There is no way we'd ever have to fight over closet space again. Not to mention that the home has beautifully vaulted ceilings with skylights and a spiral staircase. Oh, and there is a small square-shaped swimming pool in the backyard with an enclosed patio deck. Stacy moved towards Marshall and sat on his lap. She began kissing him repeatedly on his lips and then nibbled on his neck. Now, doesn't that sound like the house of our dreams, baby? We could do all kinds of shit in that house. Stacy purposely spoke in his ear. You are so bad. I knew you were setting me up. Marshall answered, feeling his manhood starting to throb with his desires. Stacy continued to shower him with her sweet, juicy, and succulent kisses. Marshall surrendered to his emotions and slipped into a euphoric love coma as she presented him numerous reasons for why he loved and cherished her. Marshall was so proud of his wife and her success. He had supported her when she wanted to quit her job as the vice president of sales and promotions for a large book distributor to pursue her career as a real estate agent. She had made a commitment to work tirelessly and become the best possible agent she could. Stacy was gifted when it came to selling products or ideas. She could sell heat to sunshine, wet to water, and hard to a dig. Marshall loved his wife and the life they'd built together. She completed him. They'd learned how to not disrespect each other and not harbor resentment. He and Stacy had superb communication and made it their personal mission to resolve all of their disputes. Marshall had the family he always wanted, the life he'd always wanted, and a supreme love that filled his heart with overflowing joy. Baby, the house sounds like it's really nice. How long have you been looking at it? Marshall knew Stacy better than she knew herself. I've been inside of it twice and I've fallen in love with it. I already know how I want to redecorate it, Stacy said meekly. How much does the home cost, Stacy? You've got expensive tastes. Sometimes your taste can get a little too expensive for my blood, Marshall asked as he looked at her with his chin tilted. Well, you're right. It is on the expensive side, but you get what you pay for. She immediately began to argue her point. We'd be able to swing the mortgage comfortably if we sold the property on 87th and Blackstone. She winced because she knew Marshall would not sell the building without a damn good reason. The property was an excellent source of supplemental income, and Marshall wasn't the type of man who'd overextend himself financially. How much does the house cost, Stacy? Marshall asked once again. The asking price for the house is $450,000, but I can work with the owners to see if I get them to lower the price a little. Plus, Lena would be in the best school districts in the state. Stacy continued her campaign of trying to win Marshall over. Stacy, Stacy, Stacy. Marshall repeated her name. We will have to talk about this one. That is on the high end of our budget. Don't you agree? I know it is, but it's well worth it. Marshall, I guarantee you that every night you will feel like the man of your house. Marshall began laughing dryly. I'm the man of my own house right now. Marshall smiled coyly. Good. Stacy ran her fingers through his hair and cupped her hand over his ear. Because I plan to make sure that you graduate from being the man of the house to the king of your fucking castle. She whispered seductively, then ran the tip of her tongue around the rim of his ear. Oh, you're good. Marshall muttered as he tried not to surrender to the passion of the moment. Can we seriously talk about it tonight, baby? Huh? We can talk about it while... Stacy spoke purposely in his ear. We can talk about it while we're making love. You're not playing fair, Stacy, Marshall said as he smacked her ass. Slap my ass again, she ordered, and he complied. Good. It's settled. We'll talk more about how we can manage this later on tonight. We'll also discuss a time when we can drive out to the property so you can see it. I just know you're going to fall in love with it. Stacy stood up and removed herself from his lap.